What's up, you guys? I'm Mina. Welcome to my channel, Mina Reads, and today I'm going to be telling you guys about some of my favorite new adult romances. So the sun is like really bright right now, so I have no idea what I look like, but hopefully it looks okay. The first book I'm going to tell you guys about is Snowflake by Mia Forrester. I've just read this book really recently, and it's about these two characters named Kaleem and Asha. I also want to mention that Snowflake is a black romance, and basically they both go to Penn State. They go to the same college, and they are stuck during a snowstorm in their dorm. And they're the only two people that are there because it's like the Thanksgiving holiday. Everyone else has gone home, but they haven't because they have like rocky relationships with their families. So they've stayed on campus and it's just them, and it's kind of like this close proximity romance and how their relationship develops because they're the only two people in the dorms during this time, and they basically spend the whole holiday together and like traveling together and doing all this different stuff. And I just love this. It's one of my all-time favorite books now, and definitely one of my favorite new adult romances, and it's basically the reason I wanted to do this video. This book, reasons why I love it. First of all, I love Kaleem and Aisha's characters. I think they're so good. They're just brilliantly realized. I feel like they have the perfect like backstory, and I don't think that the author tries to make them like tragic just for the hell of it or just for the drama of it. They feel like two characters who have, you know, difficult home lives that are just a facet of who they are, and it kind of influences certain things about their character, but it's not their whole character. It doesn't overpower the story in any way. It's just a part of who they are. And I think that these characters, like I said, they're just brilliantly written and well realized. And I love their relationship because it is, I don't want to say it's a slow burn, but it's kind of like they have a lot of stops and starts, and it's just a little bit angsty, and it has this vibe to it that I just really love how their relationship develops, how they go from not even knowing each other, you know, they live right across the hall from each other, but they barely interact, and they go from that to being like so close and just spending all this time together. And I just really love their journey to being a couple. I mentioned that Snowflake is like really sexy in like an emotionally intense way. Like Snowflake just really had it going on. Like I love this book. I think it was like really beautiful, and it made me so happy, and I loved it. Also, the audiobook is really great, and I would definitely recommend it as an audiobook. So then I want to recommend Happiness in Jersey by Jacinta Howard, and this book is also a black romance. It's set in college. It's about this girl named Jersey and this guy Isaiah, and Jersey is a bass player in this indie band called Prototype. It's about Jersey and like her and her musical career. She's very like emotionally closed off, and it's about her meeting this dude Isaiah, and he joins their band, and it's about them kind of orbiting each other, and Isaiah is trying to woo her, and she's, I don't want to say that she's resistant to it. It's not like he's like, you know, can't take no for an answer kind of thing, but it's more like she's really ambivalent because she doesn't want to invest in a relationship because she doesn't think that relationships are like worth it or whatever, but Isaiah is trying to convince her to stop being so nihilistic and realize that there is like some sunshine and happiness in life. And I just really like their relationship dynamic because he is definitely like the sunshine, optimistic kind of character, and she's definitely like the grumpy character, and I just think that their relationship is just so good. And Isaiah, he just made me swoon, and I loved him. I loved him and Jersey together. They were really angsty, very on and off, and all a mess, and I loved it. And I thought that Jersey was a little bit of a messy character, and I liked her for her messiness and how she developed over time as a character. I just thought she was really brilliant. So this book was really good. And this book definitely gave me that like emotional intensity. It had that feeling. It was something about it that just made me feel like amazing, and I just loved it, and it was really good. So then I want to recommend Getting Schooled by Christina C. Jones. We all know that I love Miss Christina C. Jones. She's amazing, wonderful, fantastic, all that good stuff. Love her, right? So Getting Schooled is about these two characters named Reece and Jason, and Reece is a what is it called? She's a TA, so she's a teaching assistant for this African American literature course that the guy Jason is in, and basically before they even meet, she reads one of his papers and she thinks it's like the best paper that she's ever read in her life, and she basically falls in love with him through the paper. She thinks it's like brilliant. But then when they meet each other in real life, it's like horrible. They're automatically antagonistic with each other and they just do not get along, and it's just really funny. They just have this, like, I don't want to say like hate to love, because they don't really hate each other, but they just have all of these hilarious interactions. We're trying to get under each other's skin, and I think they're really funny together. So I think this story is really funny. I also think it's really sexy. Their sexual tension and like the emotional tension between them is just really good, and I love that about it. I also love the fact that this book has some disability rep. Jason, he was a veteran, and so he is also an amputee. So I feel like the representation of that, I mean, I can't speak personally as like a own voices reviewer for that representation, but to me it felt like well integrated into the story. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, but I appreciated that about the story as well. And I just really love Reece and Jason as a couple. They're just so great and amazing, and I love them. I stand them, and I reread this book all the time, and it always holds up, and it's always hilarious and sexy every time I read it. So definitely recommend that one. Then I want to recommend Starting From Scratch by Jade Northcote. And Starting From Scratch is about these two characters named Ben and Sid. And Ben is a trans man who he's starting like college over again. He is like a little bit older. He's maybe like 23 or something like that. But he's going to college, and he's like a freshman right now, because when he went to college the first time, he was pre-transition, and you know, things just didn't work out for him, so he took some time off. He finally feels comfortable enough in his body to come back and, you know, be more confident and assert himself in this whole college atmosphere. So he's living with all of these different roommates, and this is about Ben trying to like connect with his college experience and connect with his roommates and also put himself out there romantically. And so he ends up dating this guy named Sid. I really like this book because it's really low drama. There's no drama. It's just like a male romance with a trans main character, and they just are really sweet together, and they just go on dates and hang out, and it's just really nice, and I love it a lot. I've seen some reviews that say the book is like kind of boring, but it's just so enjoyable to read, and I just personally really loved it. So if you're the type of person that really likes a lot of like drama and action and plot twists and whatever in your story, like, this is not that story for you, but I do think that it's really good and enjoyable, and it made me happy and it made me smile a lot. I would say some content warnings for this. There's a lot of mention of like body dysphoria. Ben has a lot of like dysphoric thoughts, especially around like sex and like having a romantic relationship. He thinks a lot of things in regards to his body and how that like will impact his sexual relationships. And also there's like an accidental outing scene, so I would say like be careful of that if that's something that would be really triggering for you. But it is a own voices work, and the author is a trans man, so I personally recommend it. I thought it was really enjoyable, really liked it. So then the next book that I want to tell you guys about is The Perfect First by Maya Hughes. This book is about a girl named Persephone and this guy named Reece, and it's a sports romance, and it's just like, when I tell you guys that I love this book is so good. It's so funny and so sweet, and it's about Persephone, and she has lived a very strict life. She's kind of like a genius, and she's about to graduate from college, and she's only like 18, but she's about to graduate from college, and she's been really closed off because her parents are super strict. She's trying to kind of experience as much as she can before she has to go back home and live with her parents under their strict rule. So she decides that she's gonna have like this bucket list of stuff that she wants to do before she has to go home and graduate, and one of the things on her list is that she wants to lose her virginity. So she puts out an ad so that she can like find somebody to help her lose her virginity with, and this guy Reece ends up interacting with her. She's like holding interviews for guys that like might want to take her virginity, and Reece accidentally ends up like interviewing, and he's like, what are you doing? This is so unsafe. Please don't do this. And so he makes this promise with her that he will help her check off every other thing on her list besides the first time having sex thing. And so she decides that she's going to have all these first times with him, and it's just so It's so adorable the way that they go from just being like strangers to friends to lovers. I just love their dynamic. I think it's so fun and like wholesome and just swoony. I love Reece. I think he was like amazing. And I love Persephone too. I think she's so genuinely funny. And I'm obsessed with like the trope of a really intelligent character being a like dumb and not having street smarts. I think that that's like my favorite kind of trope. It makes me like really happy. So I love Persephone a lot, and I love Reece, and I think that her and Reece had amazing chemistry. They were so funny together. I think this book has like some cool friendship dynamics too between like Reece and his teammates and his roommates, and the bonds that Persephone forms like through this relationship with Reece was just really nice, wonderful, wholesome, but also a little bit sexy. It did get a little sexy near the end, and I appreciated that as well. Yeah, so I think that's going to be it for this video. I'm sorry if this frame is like really uncomfortably close, but the lighting just got really weird. So anyway, that's it for this video. Please leave me some recommendations of your favorite new adult reads in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all soon. Bye, you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe.